Assalamu alaikum everybody, and welcome back to another video. As you can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about just finding what you love before regret destroys you. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by finding what you love before regret destroys you? Well, something that we all as humans is inherently built in us is our ability to not only think but remember the past. Some might call it nostalgia, some might call it just remembering, whatever it is that you call it. And one of the things that I've always seen, be on interviews on YouTube with old people and whatnot, is they always look back at the past. And some of them are regretful, Some of them didn't live up to their potential. Some of them didn't make time to do what they really enjoyed. And it ultimately eats away at you. And as a result, regret sets in. So when regret sets in, it's like a burden. It's like too big of a burden to bear, because when you're regretting something, especially if you can't fix it, then what happens? You get stuck in this infinite loop where you're just constantly thinking about it and nothing is done to address it. So one way to think about it is treat life like it's a lifelong quest, or I guess like a quest throughout your whole life. And with each quest, if you've played any adventure games like RuneScape, shout out, it's one step leads to another, leads to another, leads to another before you complete the quest. Some are easy quests, some are difficult quests. But find something in your life that gives you meaning, preferably something that isn't monetary. Monetary in the sense that there isn't an exchange of money for it, and something that isn't really too expensive, right? But find something that you can divulge your time into. Divulge, I don't know if that's the word, but basically put your time into, so that it takes away from the nagging feeling that you'll have later on where you didn't do what you set out to do or what you wanted to do. Just do something. Find a creative outlet, find a hobby, find whatever. Just get out there and get it done. And life is just way too short for us to constantly keep doing what's expected of us and not doing what will fulfill us. So we can't keep putting things off, because a common trend I've realized as I think about life in general, think about others, and just how society generally views things, is it's always put off, right? Always. Like when you're young, you're like, hey, do good in school. When you do good in school, graduate and go to college. Cool. You graduate from college, go get a job. You graduate, you get a job, go buy a house, go lease a car, go get married, go have kids. And it's one of those things where society imposes these quote-unquote rules that they deem to be like the only concrete way to live life and the only way to go about it. But is that really fulfilling? So when you always put off what you want to do for yourself, it could be anything, whatever creative outlet, adventure, whatever it might be. When you keep putting that off and your excuse is, oh, well, after I get this done, I'll do it. What happens is you're on a hamster wheel and you're just running and you're running and you're running. And that slice of cheese is always in front of you, but you never get to it. And it could be one of those situations where you never get to the cheese, but you get to some crumbs here and there that fall off the side. So it's not feasible. At the end of the day, we're put on this world to live. Of course, you need to be a productive member of society. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying just sit around, do whatever you want all day. But you need to pursue what you want to pursue. At the end of the day, you want to be able to look back at your life and say, I did that. I lived it on my terms. I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. And of course, as always in life, in hindsight, there's always going to be more that you could have done. But you can rest easy, essentially, in life as you get older, that you've done all that you can with the time that you have. And one of the things to really make note of is you are not going to enjoy life the way you think you are when you're older. So let me adjust this real quick because the heater's opening. But you're not going to enjoy life the way you did when you're younger, when you're older. When you're older, you're worn out in life, you've taken on all this responsibility, and now you go to sleep at, 8 o'clock at night. You're not going to enjoy life the way you think you will, the way society makes you think. Like, oh yeah, you just, graduate, go work for 45 years until 65 or 67 or 70 or whatever the retirement age is at that point. And they're like, well, afterwards you can enjoy life and do whatever you wanted to do. But how is that in any way, shape, or form feasible? Are you trying to tell me that you are the person you were 5 years ago after you've gone through a period of time where you've tagged on a lot of responsibility? Really? You're not. You're probably worn out. If you went through extra years of schooling, grad school, or beyond, you're definitely burned out. There's no way you aren't. So seize your time now when you're young. Make plans to live your life. Try what you want to try in terms of hobbies, exploring, and all that. But always obviously maintain a balance in terms of being a productive member of society, having a sustainable income, and so on and so forth. And it's my theory, that whenever you run into people who are a bit older and, they seem bitter, or they just seem like they're upset about something, I think that's what it is. Again, we are nostalgic creatures. We're going to constantly think about the past, think about how good things were, and how things could have been better. So I think one of the things that makes old people bitter, upset, is that they didn't live life the way they wanted to. And you don't want to follow suit. You don't want to be that old person again, having taken all that responsibility in life with no payout in the end, to sit there and say, oh, well, this could have been done or that could have been done. And finally, live life. I can't emphasize it. Over the last few months, I've learned the value of that. I've learned the value of just not taking everything way too seriously, which could lead to burnout eventually. I think I've discussed burnout before in a previous video, so make sure to check that out. But you don't want to be the person that burns out doing what they're expected to do, tagging on responsibility after responsibility after responsibility, and ultimately knowing that they're not going to get anywhere. So take a couple steps back, set up a vision for your future, for what you want to do, and start working towards actually accomplishing those things. If it's a trip, set aside a budget, save up for a year or two or whatever it might be, but start now. Take time out of your day, think about what you want to do with your life, think about what would fulfill you outside of a career, and get to it. Life is way too short. In my example, I was talking about old age and being regretful and bitter and all that. But the fact of the matter is, who really knows who's going to make it to old age, right? We don't have that guarantee. So start thinking about it and start planning for it. Now, with that said, have an amazing day, and remember, you're only young once, you're only active once, and you're only healthy once. Because once that is robbed from you, life is going to be a whole lot different. Take care.